Michelle, Eddie, and Mark, will you guys just, we'll start with Miss Michelle. If you'll tell everyone what market center you're in, what area you're in, how long you've been in real estate, and how long you've been in the actual luxury market for real estate.
Yes, perfect. And I just want to say thank you so much, you all. This is really Shalina. She did all of this, orchestrated it, did everything behind the scenes. So thank you so much for your passion to help everybody and have this. We appreciate you.
My
I
pleasure.
have been in real estate in luxury since I started in the business. So I've been in the business. This is my eighth year that I'm in. And I started in luxury. I just immediately jumped into it. My first certification was the accredited luxury home specialist. And I just jumped right into it because I knew I was going to work higher price points. It made sense with three kiddos. So I am in the Allen, Texas Market Center, which is just north of Dallas, about 20 minutes outside of Dallas. And it's Plano, Frisco, McKinney, that whole area. That's where I am. And then what was the last question? I apologize.
How long you've been in real estate? I think you've answered it. How long you've been in real estate, what area you're in, and how long you've been in the luxury real estate market.
Okay, perfect. And I've actually been in real estate since 2006. I started in the Maryland, DC area as a hard money lender. And then when I moved to Texas in 2010, met my real estate agent, and she just asked if she could mentor me in on the agent side of things. And I said yes in 2013.
Nice. Thank you. All
Mhm.
right, Mr. Eddie, you're up next. Tell us what area you're in, how long you've been in real estate, and your intro when you joined the luxury real estate.
Absolutely, absolutely. First, I'd like to thank you, Selena, for setting this all up. And I got to tell you guys, I'm super excited to I guess be featured here with true experts, Mark and Michelle. So as I go into my history a little bit, to be sitting here and be featured, super exciting for me to be. I know it's a Zoom, but let's say be on the stage with these guys. So I'm with Keller Williams Realty in Apollo Beach. That's the Tampa area. Apollo Beach sits right about 30 minutes outside of Tampa. I've been in real estate now 4 years and 3 months. Started selling luxury real estate real aggressively maybe last year, but a year prior to that, I had a conversation with a guy named Alan Johnson. I know all you folks know this guy. We had a conversation about luxury real estate, and he told me, he said, "Well, Eddie, if you want to do it, it's going to take you about 2 years to kind of make that mark." So we're there. We're there now, and it's super exciting.
Awesome. Thank you. And Mr. Mark Ellington, would you tell us who you are, what area you're in, and how long you've been in the luxury real estate market?
Hey, good evening, everybody. Again, thank you, Charlene, for setting this up.
My pleasure.
I am Mark Ellington. I have been in real estate now for 20 years. I have been pretty much in luxury the majority of that time, except for when the recession happened back in 2008, 2012 range. Didn't do a lot. But beyond that, I've been in luxury for that period of time. I've been with KW Luxury. I've been with KW for 9 years. Been with KW Luxury for about 7.5 years, and I have been certified with the International Luxury Home Marketing Institute, the Institute of Luxury Home Marketing, for 7 years, and currently hold their highest certification as a guild member. So there's not a lot of agents that do that, as well as very few Black agents, of course. But there's qualifications that go with that. I have two offices. One is based in DC with Keller Williams Capital Properties, and we're based in downtown DC. We cover Maryland, DC, and Northern Virginia. And then I also have an expansion team where I actually am. I flew in today into South Florida. I'm in Miami. We cover South Florida, so Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Boca Raton, Palm Beach. I actually was just in Tampa, Eddie. You know that this week. I was there for some clients, and as well as was able to speak to some of the KWBRN agents on yesterday. at the St. Pete office, and we did a Zoom, and we had some agents in the office. So we were talking about some social equity issues. And we're talking about making more money in the business. So I was happy to be up in Tampa.
Awesome, awesome. So before we dive into your clientele in terms of working with the luxury agent, there was some designations mentioned that I'm already starting to get questions about. So let's just talk about that really quickly. Mark, you mentioned Guild. We do know that KW Luxury has had some changes, and we are going to discuss those. But what are some of those luxury memberships that you all are in? And what is the purpose for you being there? How are they helping you grow in the luxury market? So, Mark, will you tell us really quick about Guild and let us know exactly what it is and why you chose to be a part of it?
So Guild is the certification level. The actual Institute of Luxury Home Marketing is the official certifying institute for luxury real estate agents all over the country, no matter whether it's Keller Williams or Wright. So they offer a 2-day class that is, up to this point with Keller Williams Luxury was required. In most places, it's required to do this 2-day class, which is actually amazing class. It talks about luxury marketing and high net worth individuals and communication. And so when you take the class, you become a member. And then when you reach the next level, which is called the Certified Luxury Home Marketing Specialist, that's the second level of their certification, and then the third level is the Guild level. So once you take the class, you're automatically a member. Then once you sell a certain amount of luxury properties in a certain period of time, you get to be certified. And then once you sell a higher level of luxury properties, then you become a Guild member. So that's the Institute of Luxury Home Marketing. I saw in the chat somebody asked if it was through NAR. It's not through NAR. It is its own institute. It was started by a lady named Lauri, who no longer teaches her classes, but I actually took my original classes from Lauri. It's still in existence. It's a great class. And then when you become a member, you get a whole bunch of membership benefits. So there's a lot of things that go with that. And then the Keller Williams Luxury division, from the time that I was in it till now, it was certified through the number of properties you sold and the level in your market in regards to what is luxury. It was a fee-based membership, just like everything else has been. But recently, in the last couple of months, they changed it. They changed the dynamics. Michel will probably be more able to really kind of go clarity into it, because I understand it, but she probably has all the details written in notes.
Yeah, we're going to see it over to, because Michelle has been active in that. Michelle, you guys join in with Mark and give us some details, because as Mark was saying, in the past, you paid in to KW Luxury, and that has recently changed. So will you guys join in with Mark and break that down so the agents can understand how do you become a part of the Keller Williams International Luxury International?
Yeah, absolutely. So, and for you guys that are curious, the Guild, you must sell 2 properties over $1 million, and you can go ahead and sign up to be Guild in addition to the Certified Luxury Home Marketing Specialist certification. And then for KW Luxury International, there has been some major changes, and it really truly is major opportunity, just depending on how you look at it. But to answer your question, as far as how you actually get in, they have an earn-in option right now for KW Luxury International. However, I just want to make it clear, I'm on the board of KW Luxury International for a region in North Texas and New Mexico. And it's important that everybody understands that KW Luxury International, Leslie Akers is just really passionate about this, understanding that it's always been a earn in, right? So like you were not able to join KW Luxury International unless you sold a certain number of transactions. What Mark was saying, he's absolutely correct. There's a new earn in. They've actually upped all of that since we sent out this memo to have this panel for you all. Everything has been changed, and it actually is, the list is not coming out until I believe the very last day of this month. So everybody should know from their team leader and their market center if they have earned into the luxury status. The beauty and the change is that everybody has the opportunity now to list property with KW Luxury International signs. So you don't have to, Mark was speaking about how you pay in once you have earned whatever the qualifications are for your market center, you pay into the membership, and now you're a KW Luxury International specialist. If they really didn't know what to put on the end of it, it's been changed so many times, but we'll reference it as a specialist for right now. So then you became a specialist by paying in, and that has now been taken away. You can actually put a sign in the yard as a KW Luxury quote unquote specialist, even if you have not sold any luxury homes. So that is one of the major changes. To earn in, you have to now sell 4 properties, and the national number that across the board for luxury that no market center should be going below is 700,000. However, every market center has the ability to choose what their actual luxury number is to qualify, to earn in to luxury. So
Thank you.
it's all kind of new terminology. So everything Mark said is correct. We didn't really have this earn in term. This is all new for KW Luxury International. So now with that earn in term, you have to do things a little differently than you did in the past. Hopefully that's helpful. And I have the accredited luxury home specialist certification, which I got as soon as I got licensed. I got the certified luxury home marketing specialist designation. I was going to say certified negotiation expert, which is not a luxury thing, but I just feel like if you're working at that level, you should intend to be a certified negotiation expert at a high level. And I believe that's it as certifications go. There is a Elite 20 thing that I'm looking to bring to Keller Williams. And that is also in addition to being on the KW Luxury International board.
Thank you, Michelle. Eddie, question for you. So
Yeah,
let's just jump right
let me piggyback real quick. So Michelle and Mark, you know, they got some very awesome credentials, and I think what folks want to know tonight, well, hey, how can I be on the next Zoom and have sold all this stuff and have these credentials? So I just want to talk a little bit about the change with the KW Luxury International, how that helps you. Because the one question folks always ask is, well, you know, how do I get luxury buyers or sellers? And when I first started, you know, making that leap to do luxury, you know, that was one of the things I haven't sold. I had not sold any. So with this change, this allows you now to go out and market a property. You know, when you go to the listing presentation, now you can say, hey, here's what I'm gonna do different from this other agent. I have a whole army of luxury marketing tools for you with Keller Williams International. Before the change, you couldn't do that. You had to be a Keller Williams luxury agent to use those materials. So I think that's huge for you.
Yeah, thank you for that, Eddie. And Eddie, let's just dive into how do you begin as an agent wanting to get into that luxury market? Where do I begin? Where do I meet luxury buyers and sellers? How do I step into that realm? Do I have to find a mentor first? Like, what do I do to get this luxury buyer or seller? Eddie, will you kick us off with that one?
Yeah, so I think 2 things. I think there's a science to it, and I'm not so great at that, but I'm getting better. And I think there's an art to it. I'm more better at the art. But I would tell you this: it starts here in your mind. You know, the Kansas City Chiefs right now, they're not saying they're coming to Tampa and lose. You know, they're saying they're coming to Tampa and win. Now we know they're going to lose, but it starts in your mind. They think they're going to win. So it starts in your mind. You got to say, you know, I want to sell luxury real estate. And it's a lot that comes with that. Your attitude, your dress, your spear, a lot of things come with that. But if we go with the science, I think you need to leave this Zoom or when you're ready, you know, you need to target a property or a neighborhood. just today on KW Luxury, one of the sites, two realtors picked up listings, luxury listings, because they said the seller appreciated their persistence and appreciated, one guy even said, their hustle. They beat out other agents because of that, and they shared that just today. So you have to be intentional. Direct mail, send them something every 2 weeks, every week, bring some value to it. Your spear, you have to be in places to have general conversations, regular conversations, and then the conversation of what you do will come up. You don't lead with that. I think when I started real estate, I did. I put you in a headlock to let you know I'm ready to sell a house. But you start some natural conversations in those areas. Networking events, again, the science. Who are the people there? Then the art of selling real estate. This new KW Luxury International change helps with the art. When you go on a listing presentation now, you have so much information that you can take with you. I used to show up with one of these. I don't know if you can see it. I only had two houses that I had showed, but I was telling folks, this is how I'm gonna market your house. This is how I'm gonna market your house. I still use these today. So you got to have something, the art, to show them what you're doing different. Talk to them about Matterport. Tell them, hey, your house didn't sell because it wasn't in Matterport. Now be ready to spend the money to get some Matterport, right? So again, that's the art. Second or third, wherever I'm at in this, maybe your first house is not $1 million house. Maybe your first house is not a $500,000 house. But here's why I say start. And you got to do it. Start selling some nice properties that you can show pictures of. I sold a $330,000 condo on the water, not $1 million house, but the condo was gorgeous. The view was on the 5th floor of 6 floors. And I used that, I would tell them, no, I haven't sold $1 million house, but let me show you some of the nice stuff I have sold. So start there.
Thank you, Eddie. Michelle, Mark, you want to jump in and tell us where should they get started with getting that luxury buyer or seller?
So similar to what Eddie said, it's all about your mind space, right? In between your ears is the most important area. Just choose it. I mean, that's what I did. I can just say this, that's what I did. As soon as I came into selling real estate, I chose to sell at a higher price point. So the immediate thing I did was connected with the luxury in agents. And I actually did not find that connection inside of my office. I found it outside of my office. I did open houses for this agent in my area. And I learned, I literally just soaked it up and learned it. I would literally go around that house and just study all the differences between that house and the current house that I lived in, because it was not luxury price point that I was currently living in. And I just think that it's so important to understand that you can position yourself versus feeling like you have to go purchase $1 million home. There's ways to position yourself so that you're knowledgeable and you're educated in what it is that you choose. So just know for sure, first and foremost, what you choose to do. And for me, like I said, my why, everybody talks about a why. My why was I had a certain amount of time to sell real estate. My priorities at that time was my 18-month-old twins and my daughter that was in elementary school. So I wanted to be there when they came home from school and to take them to school in the morning. That was my whole thing. So I had a short amount of hours to get all of this done. In order to make that happen, I had to work at a higher price point to accomplish my goals. So I worked with the agents that were at higher levels, became educated anytime they taught anything. And Keller Williams makes it so easy because anytime they taught anything, anytime they were open to a discussion, I was on the phone with them, or I was shadowing them, or I was in one of their open houses, giving them, amazing feedback. So they would request me for their open houses. And looking at their marketing material, looking at how they were taking care of their clients, at that level. And then for myself, as a side note, I was also building relationships outside of my market center with luxury agents, because I knew that that's where I was going to be playing at, right? So it's just about positioning. I always went to anything and everything that was luxury and was a part of that scene and with those agents. I started real estate in Texas. Grew up in Maryland, DC. So I didn't have, family or anything here to kind of build that way. I literally had to build it from scratch in Texas. So when I went to KWRI events, that was phenomenal for me because I could connect with people from Maryland, DC area, which I was always kind of drawn to. And just built relationships with other people that were doing real estate at a really, really high level. So again, it's about just positioning yourself, building the right relationships, studying and knowing and educating yourself on that product that you're going to be selling at a really, really high level. Because the goal is not to pose as luxury, right? The goal is to choose it and become it, right? And then step into it, or as you're doing it, step into it. And just in the beginning, know that you're your only person stopping you. You are more than able to do this. And once you believe that and just start taking those steps, I truly believe the rest will come as you go. Because my first couple of luxury sales came from my database, and the clients were not luxury clients first. At first, I was selling them their talking them into purchase an investment property. So we purchased a $200,000 property in McKinney, and then I helped them with the $1 million deal in Fairview, right? So it truly can be your whatever you choose. I mean, it's really true in this world, as long as you're putting the action and the intention behind it. I also did expired calls and FSBO calls and everything. In Texas at the time, luxury was 500,000 or above. So those were the calls that I was making in the beginning. I told you guys, because of time, my listings, everything that I worked towards was 500,000 and above. And that's just where I focus my entire realm to be able to learn that luxury market, learn that clientele, how they work, how they operate, and just become more and more comfortable in that space.
Thank you. So purposeful, intentional. Thank you. Mark.
Yeah, so therefore I won't repeat everything that Eddie and Michelle went through. I'll kind of talk about the next side of getting into luxury, and that would be understanding luxury properties and being able to recognize what is a luxury property. So knowing that what's the difference between a 3-piece or a 5-piece molding, right? Can you tell if it's real molding, or is it sometimes they'll paint it, but it makes it look like it's real molding, but it's not. There's so many levels of flooring. There's so many levels of appliances. There's types of cabinet makers that are different. Looking at types of roof lines on styles of houses. So understanding when you drive up, are you looking at a mid-century? Are you looking at a federal? Are you looking at what type of architecture are you using? Because understand that the people that own those houses, no, they're very clear what they have. And so if you are trying to get a listing and you're going to present and you want to kind of use smoke and mirrors, like like Michelle said, you're kind of faking it, then it's going to be exposed on the higher end houses when you get to those $1.5 million houses, because they're going to know and they're going to really be able to tell whether or not you know your stuff, because they're putting more energy into selling their house at the highest price point because of what they've invested in. And so if you are going to undersell it or not be able to sell it because you don't know, it's going to affect you being able to get the listings. And then the other side of it, so I would definitely implore people to get into architecture and get into what is in luxury properties, going and visit luxury homes, looking at Viking is not the only a luxury appliance package. There's Thermador, there's all sorts of different, but you have to know what is a good appliance for Thermador. Nobody's going to run around and buy a Thermador microwave. It's just dumb, right? but the Thermador stove is like one of the most elite stoves out here. Um, I've had people want to say, want to buy all Viking appliances. The Viking refrigerator freezers are some of the worst refrigerator freezers out there. They leak, they break down. So you need to know all of this, because whether you're doing a listing or whether you're having a high-end buyer, you need to know, like, don't get all excited about this, or this is really good and this is adding value to this house. And then the second part of it would be understanding the conversation in the language of high net worth individuals. I think one of the biggest things that comes out of the class that the Institute offers is understanding what luxury is, right? So luxury is not, a Louis Vuitton purse. Luxury is not, Gucci. There's, this other high-end luxury that the high-end net worth individuals, that's where they're in, right? They're not walking around with expensive purses that we call luxury. They're walking around with things that are Hermes and other things that, if you walk, I don't know if anybody's ever walked to the Hermes store, but it'll shame you down to say, I need to go work harder, right? Because that's high end luxury. Understanding that language, understanding that the level of service that the high net worth individual is accustomed to is what they're looking for. So if you don't understand, the service of a Ritz-Carlton or a Four Seasons, then go visit them and watch it happen and take your notes. There's a book that Ritz-Carlton has. It's called Ladies and Gentlemen. I think it's called Ladies and Gentlemen. And it is the whole platform that Ritz-Carlton uses for their service. I actually implemented that in my business years ago, and it's anticipatory service, like, because the people that are in these high-end houses, they want you to tell them what's next. And you have to be able to tell them very clearly and at the level that, because remember, they're hiring some of the best professionals, attorneys and accountants and financial planners. Their real estate agents shouldn't be any different than that. So if you're going to be in that space, then you need to start to experience that space. You need to start to live that space. You understand, if you haven't been able to travel to some of the more luxurious places, read about them, watch the videos, so you can have the conversations, because they're going to say, hey, I just got back, well, not in COVID, but before, hey, I just got back from the Maldives, right? Or I'm getting ready to go over to take a safari over in South Africa. At least be able to have that conversation, and you can say, oh, that's one of the places I plan on going, I want to go. Have you looked into this, right? Have you seen this resort? I remember talking to a client, and I knew he was from the islands in Barbados, and I studied all the high-end resorts in Barbados, all the restaurants. I studied Barbadian rum. I just started looking at that because I wanted to be able to make sure I was ready to have the conversation. And when we started talking about, his family, then I was able to say, talk about Barbadian rum and this and that. And he was like, oh man, you know about that. And it gives you a connection. So you want to have the language, not just of connecting, which is important in any of our business, but also the language of luxury. You walking in with, a Louis Vuitton is not going to get you a luxury listing. You walking in with some Chanel, high heels or Christian Louboutins, that's not going to get you a listing, and it might be okay. And you have to make sure that you're ready to have those conversations at that level. So I think those two things, understanding the actual real estate, and then the high-end real estate and what it comes with, and condos and what it's in there, and then understanding the language of high net worth individuals and the experiences they have on a daily basis. Eddie, he has a boat. He's out there. Boaters have a whole different language, right? So when you go out on boats and you're trying to speak their language, if you call a rope a line, they immediately know you're not a boater, right, Eddie? Right?
Yeah.
So
don't come back no more. Too much explaining to do.
Yeah. So there's a whole different language in all of these areas. High net worth individuals have their own language, and you need to start getting accustomed to that. And the only way you're going to really do that is by getting in that space. So go to Ritz-Carlton's, go to Four Seasons, go to high-end events, go to high-end concerts. Study all this, and it will help you start to be able to have the conversation. So when you get there, but understand the last thing I'll say on that is most high-end individuals, it's almost purely referral. So you're not going to show up out of nowhere and door knock on $1 million house. This is not going to happen. So it's going to be, you're in that space. I have a listing down here in Miami. It's 1.69 million. It was somebody I talked to for over a year who was referred to me by another real estate agent who didn't know luxury, who said, hey, this guy knows luxury, speaking about me. And I had to talk to him and follow up with him for over a year until he gave me the listing. But I had to understand what it was to have a luxury condo in Miami Beach and be able to understand why the condo fees are $3,600 a month and why, in the valley, you have to be able to say that and not be shocked. And so the language is critically important.
And we do have some questions in the chat that I want to make sure. I know, Eddie, Mark, you hit on a lot of what they're asking for in the chat. One of those, Emanuela mentioned, if you all could talk to what that profile looks like of that luxury buyer or seller. And the statement was, could you talk about the personalities and the process of servicing high price point clients?
So, go ahead, Michelle.
So the interesting part for me is that there's no profile. I mean, my clients that are luxury are NFL players, they're doctors, they're just moms that don't even work. Their husband works, or mom and dad, neither one of them work. They just take care of their kids. So there's no real profile for me in Texas of what a luxury client is. I think, like Mark was saying, it's more so being well versed enough that when you have that opportunity, you're ready for it. So you've already positioned yourself. You already know how to serve a client at a high level. One of the things that Mark was mentioning that I would just add to when he's talking about experiencing luxury, pay special attention to the service that you receive when you're at these high level places, when you're taking time out and going to the Ritz, or you're taking time out and we went to Kauai and stayed at the St. Regis on the beach. Just realize how they take care of their clients at a really, really high level. And because there's going to be expectations, if you don't know the difference, that may frustrate you. Whereas for them, it's just natural. And you got to be ready for that. And you have to naturally be ready for it so that it doesn't feel like your client is straining you, because you remember, energy is all around. So they can feel tension and they know when you're ready and when you're not ready, like Mark was talking about. They're savvy, they're at a higher level, and you just got to be ready by being educated and positioning yourself in that world before the opportunity ever hits. So circling back to your question, I don't have a certain profile. I mean, I just closed with and got a referral from California to most recently luxury clients to try to answer your question a little bit better. One was an NFL player and one was a wife of an NFL player. But then my one before that was a doctor and the other one was a business owner. So, and one was Black, one was white, one was young, one was old. One was a single mom because she was getting a divorce. So it's just, so the profile is a person, it's a human being. That really truly is the profile. I have met with other luxury agents that study the Wall Street Journal so that they can, be able to have that dialogue back and forth at that level. If you don't have the network and you don't have the people surrounding you that you can have conversations with at that quote unquote higher level, pick up the Wall Street Journal, pick up the New York Times, just make sure you're reading at, I don't know if the New York Times are higher level, but I know the Wall Street Journal is, because our listings get featured there for Mansion Global. So I hope that's helpful.
Yeah, I think, that's not a profile. I think you have to be careful about that question always comes, well, where do we meet these folks? Where do we hang out? I mean, let's see the best way to say this. I mean, every attorney is not buying $1 million house. Every doctor is not buying $1 million house. So I don't mean, you hang out around a certain sphere because these people are going to work with you or they're going to buy $1 million houses. I don't think there's a profile. I think it starts with you saying that's what you want to sell. As Mark and Michelle was saying, you have to educate yourself to be well versed. And I'll go back to study a property, before, and I think we do this on any listing presentation, but normally, you may know your area for homes below the luxury mark. But if study a home, study a property, study that area. So as Mark was saying, when you visit the home, you can have a conversation about the interior decoration. You're just well versed. Yeah, that I don't see a profile. I mean, I've had folks that show up in cowboy boots, show up in flip flops, but they got a pocket full of money. So yeah, I'm showing a house Saturday. I think the price point is about 600K on the water, and I talked with this guy yesterday for the first time, and his southern draw is just like mine. So you have to be genuine. You want to be natural. You want to be yourself, but you need to be well versed as well.
Yeah, I don't think that there, is a physical profile. I mean, I learned that a long time ago. You just never know who has any money, right? The people that you think don't have money is gonna have money, right?
Right.
The more money people have, at least they show it, right? Um, but on the other side of it, I think if we talk about another type of profile, it would just go back to what Michelle was saying, and that is the expectation profile of the level of service and the level of understanding and knowledge that they expect. And I think that's where a lot of agents don't get to the luxury level, is because they're not willing to get that knowledge, and that's a lot of work. Like, it's not something that you're just going to read, one book or go to Ritz Carlton and have dinner one time and then all of a sudden you got it. It's a lifestyle. They live a certain level of lifestyle on a daily basis, and you have to be comfortable in that lifestyle. I remember taking an agent. She actually had told me that, hey, I got this luxury client, I want you to come with me. And she said, where should we meet? Should we meet at Starbucks? And I'm like, I knew that we was buying like a $2 million house in Georgetown, DC. And I was like, nah. I was like, let's meet at the Ritz Carlton down in Georgetown for happy hour, right? And so we did. She met down there. She was all dressed up in her finest stuff. We got in the restaurant. The client was just sat down. We talked. She introduced me, and the waiter came over and asked what we wanted to drink. And she opened the menu. That's when we still had open menus. And she opened the menu, and she was like, "Oh my God, look how expensive these drinks are," right? And I was like, Lord have mercy, like this, And so I had to like go back and reel everything back in and let him understand, like, okay, this is not new for me. I got this, right? So, you know, you have to have already been there and know what you're doing. And like Michelle said, the critically important is understanding service. I mentioned a book, I looked it up. The actual name of it's called The New Gold Standard. Is a book that's based on Ritz-Carlton's service. Ritz-Carlton service is, the motto is ladies and gentlemen, um, um, treating ladies and gentlemen. So they see themselves as ladies and gentlemen, and they're treating their clients as ladies and gentlemen. But the key part of it is anticipatory service. And so in doing that, anticipatory service means they have to know what's next before they think about what's next, right? So your job is to make sure they never have to ask you a question, right? Especially at this high level. They shouldn't be looking for you. They shouldn't be wondering. At that level, they'll fire you because their accountant, going back to what Michelle was talking about, their stockbroker tells them way before they anticipate a stock going up or down, because they've done the research, they've done the homework, and they're saying, hey, we need to talk about your portfolio. This is what we think is going to happen. Once it happens, what do you want to do? Do you want to buy? Do you want to sell? Do you want to hold? Do you want to? These are anticipatory things. You have to be the same way in regards to, here's the market, here's where it is. I was in Tampa meeting with a client, and she's in St. Pete, actually, in St. Petersburg. And so a couple of years ago, she moved down. She's a retired vice president of two major corporations, Black woman, and was referred to me by my insurance guy. And so we went down, we got her a rental property in St. Pete so she could kind of get the lay of the land. you would never know this woman has gazillions of dollars, right? She's a very small little woman, like really cool, but she's made lots and lots of money. And so one of the many reasons I went to Tampa St. Pete this week was to sit down with her. So she smokes cigars, and I smoke cigars. So she's let's go meet and talk about smoking cigars, right? And cigars are big for her, they're big for me, so we have that in common. And so we sat down in St. Pete's next to this restaurant, Eddie, called 400 Beach. If you've been there, right on it's on Beach Drive in St. Pete.
I was having a nice time there.
And we sat down and smoked cigars, and she was telling me about like where she is and such like that. And she asked me, how should I pay for this? Should I pay cash? Should I finance it? So we went through that whole scenario. We were talking about investment, talking about what property she has, where she is in life in regards to retirement. So I had to be able to be ready to have that conversation. I can't, that's not something where you're gonna be like, well, call the lender. No, she's got millions of dollars in the bank. So you have to be able to guide her to a certain extent of here are your options. And then what she said was, my fear with you, Mark, is you're not from St. Pete, right? So you don't know the area. So I immediately went and got an agent that I already knew was in St. Pete and called her up and said, hey, do you know these buildings and such? Because I have a $1.5 million buyer and she wants somebody who knows this market, which is fair, right? So we got that tied in, had the conversation, and now, and when I was in St. Pete, yesterday, I went and had them meet so they could physically meet each other. And so now she takes it from there, right? But we wouldn't have gotten that far if she didn't trust me to give her the information, to anticipate what she needed, to talk about how to buy it. And what she's gonna end up doing is she has a property that she has like $800,000 in equity in it. She's gonna go get like a $600,000 line of credit off of that. And so that she has, because her tax accountant told her she needed something to pay interest against. So she's going to use the $600,000 and the rest of it she's going to pay in cash. But the whole deal is going to be cash on the real estate side because she's going to pull the money out, right? But there's financial advantages that she needed to do. So you want to make sure that you're just really ready to have these conversations. And I'm not just talking about $600,000 or $700,000 properties. I'm talking about when we're getting to these $1 million, $2 million, $5 million conversations. You've got to be ready. It's just not going to happen. And they take a long time. Like the process is, it could be long. Sometimes they may show up and say, I want to buy $2.5 million. Sometimes it's not. We have here in Miami, we have a direct connection with the Miami Heat. So one of my agents on my team here, she does a lot of stuff with the Miami Heat players. And it's pretty instant. Like it's going to be there, it's going to be that. And she knows them, they trust her. And so those are instant. But we've got other buyers who have been looking for a year for the right deal, the right condo and such. So it just depends on, your client. So the profile, going back to that conversation, focus on the profile of the lifestyle, not of the physical look or how old they are, how young they are, like Michelle said. Like focus on the lifestyle so that whoever it is, you can pick up that lifestyle.
Thank you. Michelle, I want to start with you on this question. How big of a role is branding when you are marketing yourself as a luxury real estate agent?
So that is a great question. I do think for everybody is something different. And the reason why I say that is because my luxury business, while the intention is to grow it and get into people I don't know, most of it is word of mouth. So my quote unquote branding, for me, I need to up it some notches. Like I need, that's one of my weaknesses actually. I need to really focus on what I'm putting out there and what I look like out in the world, which has never been a focus of mine. I've always been focused on walking in truth, being an amazing mom, being an amazing wife, and just being a great person and meeting people, building relationships and doing what I say I'm going to do when I say I'm going to do it. So those have been, kind of how I've operated, how I've grown my business. And now with this new world that we live in, it's so important, I think, that we do have to put attention and focus on personal branding. So I just got back from Cabo and there were some different things that were positioned in front of us in order to make that a focus and make personal branding and luxury a focus. And then there's also challenges with that, right? Because I sell luxury, but truly I study and know luxury so that I'm positioned should my clients need it. I do real estate at all levels. I mean, I just did a first time single mom home buyer, and we got her 10,000 in equity at 250 out of pocket. That made me just as happy as the $1 million sale I did this summer in Highland Park where George Bush grew up, right? So I truly, just being vulnerable and answering that question straight up, I struggle with the whole personal branding and making that a focus. And I do believe that it is extremely important if you want to grow your business and grow it at a high level. You should, set yourself up, because the world is seeing all of that first right now versus it being more of a relationship one-on-one, right? You can connect to people in so many different ways right now that your personal branding I would imagine, has to be at a high level if you're looking to grow your business to a certain level. So I hope that answers your question.
Yes, ma'am. Eddie, how do you brand yourself?
Yeah, so Michelle hit it on the mark, but I think you have two different clients out there. So the branding is super important, and that's the area I need to work on. But as Mark said and Michelle said, a lot of times at this level, well, in real estate in general, is the relationship, right? But at this level, most of the time, what I've seen with my deals, it's been the relationship. Someone that knows me, that buyer or seller trusts, and now they trust me. But to reach that client that doesn't know anyone, you've never connected with, that's where the branding is huge. And I'll circle back around and say this change with KW Luxury International is huge for that, for that branding.
Thank you. And so as we begin to wind down and wrap it up, I do want to talk a little bit more about KW International, because I saw some questions come in. And just for clarification, it is 4 properties over the course of 24 months. And so there may have been some agents who have sold luxury, but didn't get into KW International, into the luxury division, where now you can do that if you've sold those 4 properties. Michelle, do you want to tag in on any of that with Keller Williams and that change? Because we did have a question come in about how can you use this marketing as an agent wanting to get into the luxury market? How can you use that marketing to your benefit?
Yes, absolutely. So for KW Luxury, and I just want to make sure I got your question correct. So can you repeat that for me one more time before I answer it?
So the question that came in was asking, let me go back here, what targeting luxury, what marketing material would a new agent use? And we understand that some of the changes with Keller Williams Luxury is you will be able to use that marketing material, even though you're not necessarily considered a luxury agent.
Okay.
How could that benefit a newer agent to use that material?
Thank you for repeating that. It definitely can benefit you, because before you didn't have access to it. And right now you guys have access to the same thing I have access to, no matter what you've sold. And that is the white glove. That is the luxury marketing that I use on my listings. And you literally can just put your, upload. My assistant just puts my photos in there and my luxury listing portfolios and pictures and flyers and all of that stuff is just printed right from there. It's called White Glove. I'll see it when I'm not talking. I'll see if I can find the website and post it in the chat. I also posted the KW.
Michael Lewis, Michelle. Michael Lewis Marketing, White Gloves.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And then also posted the link for the luxury call if you guys were not able to join on that. So you guys can go back and listen to the whole recording. I love the music in the beginning. Y'all tell me how y'all like the music. But the luxury playbook, pretty much, they just released that. So I posted that in the chat so you guys can get a better understanding of it. But the way you gain from that is you can go in and take a luxury listing and you can stand on, just like you could stand on when you go take a KW luxury listing in your office, you could stand on the numbers from your market center to show your strengths. Like we're #1 in Collin County, KW Allen is. So I can use that to take listings. So the same thing with KW Luxury International, because it's opened up and you don't have to qualify, you're just you guys are all part of KW Luxury International in some sense right now, right? You're all part of it. So you literally can say, We sell more luxury real estate across the world than any of the other brokerages, like period, hands down. We have the numbers to show it. So you're a part of that. It's a we thing now. You don't have to wait until you qualify, pay in, like Mark talked about earlier. You qualify for that. My recommendation is if you're going in front of somebody, like Mark said, partner up with a luxury agent or get that knowledge prior to, just so you're ready. And we're serving our clients to the best of our ability, but you truly have the same access now to be able to just sell luxury property. So that's a big impact. So to give you a real live example, my twin brother got into luxury real estate in Atlanta, and he had a luxury listing, but he was not a KW luxury agent. He had just retired from the military, and he was doing business in Atlanta. So we were looking at how can we partner, since I specialize in it, to get this luxury listing sold and we can market it in the luxury realm. Well, y'all don't have to worry about that anymore. All your listings are marketed the same way mine are marketed, as long as they're 700,000 and over. You don't need us or need anything to be able to do that. You just do the marketing, the same marketing that we do. So I think it just really just opened things up for us in a major way, to be able to connect at a higher level and accomplish the goal of raising our price points at an easier level, truly.
Thank you.
Can I add to what you said? Because it's 100% the white glove, like Michelle, I use white glove for all of my luxury listings because they have, the marketing looks amazing, the materials look amazing. You have the option of having it all done and then sent to you, and you can print it out. I suggest if you're going to have a luxury marketing piece, let them do it because they use the right materials, the right card stock, everything. So when it comes out, the pictures are clear. You don't have to worry about Staples or somebody like that messing it up. So go ahead and spend the extra $100 and get it done. But going back for a second to the branding piece, that's actually one of the reasons I came to Keller Williams. When I talked to Emmerich and Pat at the time, one of the things, as you all know, we're agent centric, right? We're agent first. So not only can we use our names and our branding over and above the Keller Williams branding, but the idea they gave me, which I've used since I showed up here, was I have two brandings, right? One is, as Michelle said, when people ask me what I do, I say I sell real estate because that's what I do. I sell real estate to whoever wants to buy it, right? But then I have the luxury piece. And one of the reasons why during the recession that I had an issue is because everybody knew me as a luxury agent, an estate agent. I only sold high-end homes. So when the recession happened and people were selling houses at 2 and 3 and they had to sell them real quick and they were losing their short sales, they didn't call me because they said, oh, we don't want to bother you. You only sell $1 million houses. I'm like, but I got to eat, right? So that was a big thing for me, is like, how do I get out of that? Like, I did too good of a job helping people think I'm a luxury agent so they won't let me sell a regular house. And so when I came to Keller Williams, I created two different branding looks. One is black and it's all very high end and it's my luxury brand. So my signs look like that, my cards look like that, everything. The other is a regular, plain, kind of white and red, basic. My signs are white based. They're clean looking, but the logo's the same, but it just looks different when I do the luxury. So I'm able to go out and market both, and nobody believes I'm one or the other. Like, I do both. But obviously, when you're going out into a high-end market, you want to have high-end materials. And so I have those for my luxury piece. And then regular, real estate, they get the other side. It's still me. It's the same. It's my team's the same. But it affords me the opportunity to kind of go back and forth so nobody pigeonholes me in either way. So I think that that's something that we should all take advantage of, is that, come up with more of a luxury branding side that you can use for your luxury clients. I have my business card. Some people have seen it. But each one of my business cards costs like $3. And I'll be giving it out to everybody, right? The luxury side. But when they get it, they know, right? They know that this is something. My regular business card is you write on it, you throw it away like everybody else's. So you've got to make sure, that's why I said with the Michael Lewis marketing, the white glove service, I let them print everything out with their stock, with their level of printing, so the pictures are clear, it's sheens is right. So when they see those pieces, or even when they also give you a digital copy, when I post those pieces, they look like wow, right? Because that's what you want. Because as Eddie said, later on, you're going to have a conversation with somebody to say what you did, and it needs to match, right? It needs to tie in. So you want to make sure that when you're branding, you're using the advantage we have at Keller Williams of brand yourself in the manner in which you want to put out there.
Thank you, Mark. And before we log off, I do have questions that are still in the chat. Do not worry. I'm going to take a picture of those and get you responses from our panel, and I will post those in the group. But one thing that is coming into me from private messages, I don't have people who know people that are luxury. What do I do?
So I'll just say real quick. I'm sorry, Eddie.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go where they are. Like, if you keep going to eat at Ruby Tuesdays, you're gonna meet people that eat at Ruby Tuesdays. So if you want to get in the luxury market and you don't know the people, go where they are. Look in your city. Look, you may not have. I was in Tampa. Eddie, I don't know why y'all don't have a Ritz-Carlton or a Four Seasons. It blows my mind, right? But
in Sarasota, we don't have one.
But you have to go find the luxury. So you know what I did? I make it a point. So I went. They just opened 2 weeks ago, a brand new JW Marriott, the best luxury hotel in Tampa, right? Just in time for the Super Bowl. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to lose. But the JW Marriott, the JW Marriott is their right now their luxury place, right? So I lived in Tampa. I'm showing up at JW Marriott at the bar, right? If I'm going out, I'm going to go stay at the JW Marriott or in that space, right? I'm not going to go over to the other Marriott because that's just a regular Marriott. If you're going to have somebody coming in, so if you don't know people, go to those spaces, go to those places. When I came to Miami 4 years ago to start my team, they told me that all the really wealthy, cool people are at the Soho Beach Club. It's invitation only, it's membership only. I've been here for 4 years, I'm still waiting for my membership, right? But I've met people in the meantime. As soon as I hear Soho, I'm like, you wanna go, right? Because I wanna go there where they are and be in that space, and that's where you'll start to meet people, right? So those, you gotta look, and you're gonna have to spend maybe a little money to do it, but go where they are if you don't know them.
I agree with that 100%. Anytime I travel, it's all the places that Mark just now named. Just naturally, that's just where I gravitate to. I guess because once you stay there, you're not going to want to stay anywhere else. But then also, for someone asked a question regarding international, I told Mark, or me and Mark had a conversation. This should really be like a 4-part series, y'all, because there's so much to show y'all. We talked about getting into luxury real estate and positioning yourself. We talked about servicing your clients at a high level, which that could be a whole Zoom on its own. There's also another piece that we haven't talked about, which is how do you continue to hold on to that client and have them to refer you out? And that's a whole nother piece of how we service it, but it gets right into another question that was in the chat, which was as far as international real estate. Someone asked, I do international real estate. And it's very important to, and with the clientele that I have, to be knowledgeable internationally. And my clients are from all over the world. They're from Spain, they're from Venezuela, Nigeria, everywhere, any place you could, Sweden, all over the world. And I have, they're not just clients, these are relationships, like people that I travel across the country. I study at Harvard University with, like, absolutely. So we could probably do a whole nother Zoom to really be able to tell y'all everything that's on my heart to share with y'all.
Michel, set y'all up for 3 more sessions.
Yeah, I think that what you said is 100%. We did talk about that. We could probably have 5 sessions, really, because there's just so many parts of it. And international, I'm here in Miami. Part of my business plan has to do with international real estate and expanding into that space. So one of the things I realized 4 years later I have to do is I have to be fluent in Spanish, because 70% of people in Miami speak Spanish. And when I'm getting invited to conversations at Prime 112 or Poppy Steak or whatever, and I'm in a room full of everybody who speaks Spanish and they have to interpret for me, then I'm kind of losing, right? Even though I'm there, I'm kind of losing. So that one of the things by the end of the year, y'all hold me accountable. I will be able to speak fluent Spanish by the end of the year. I hired a teacher. I do it twice a week. So it's going to happen. But just like Michelle said, in international real estate, you need to also travel internationally if you can, right? And like I was just in Puerto Rico over New Year's. I stayed at the St. Regis, and you again see the level of service, but you're talking to people from all over the world. You're getting contacts, you're getting connections, so that you can, if they're not going to be in your city, they're going to talk about real estate where they're interested in being, and then we got our referral network, right? And then we can refer it out. So when I was in Puerto Rico, I met somebody who said, oh, by the way, I want to be in Tampa. Where was I this week? I was in Tampa because they said they were going to be there this week, and I coordinated everything so I could be there. So, when you're, just like you having the conversations, you want to find out where they're going and what they're doing internationally, and then be there. We have people, if you don't know Lucy Parker in Dubai or Errol in Turkey, like get out and meet these people virtually. Go friend them on Facebook and watch them, watch their feeds, learn about them, because you'll be able to speak more intelligently when you do meet somebody and says, hey, I'm thinking about going to buy and buy property. I got somebody for you. Talk to Lucy Parker, right? So you want to make sure that you're connected as much as you can. Keller Williams is a huge company and huge opportunities, but it's going to take you to actually get out there and go and do this. And right now it's all virtual, but to me it's easier because you can just do it, real quickly.
Yep.
Eddie, where do we meet that luxury buyer? We saw live you lead gen with when you were on the water, which was amazing. You did a live lead gen for us. So where does that person find that buyer or seller if they don't know someone to get that referral?
Yeah, so everybody that boat don't buy $1 million houses, but there's a large majority of folks that do, right? I think what I want to say first for the folks that's trying to jump into this, and I think this is my third time saying it, that's why I believe it. You need to find a for sale by owner, you need to find some expireds, and you need to study those properties, and then you need to start direct mailing those folks. I think that's going to be your greatest success right now. Second, where do you meet these folks? Definitely. It's definitely your 5-star establishments, your 5-star restaurants. But see, when you're there, right, there comes the question, how do you meet them? It's all going to start with a general conversation. And then at some point, well, yeah, what do you do? And it leads in, and that's where that knowledge base, because folks will say, I may see someone at the Marriott, what Mark was talking about, and they say, well, I'm thinking about buying a place on Harbor Island. That's right there. I'm thinking about buying a place on Davis Island. That's right there. So you have to have that research piece to have the conversation. For them to say, I want to buy a place on Davis Island, and you say, oh, that's nice, it stops, you're done. So yeah.
Thank you. Well, I just want to thank you again, Eddie. I want to thank you, Mark, and I want to thank you, Michelle, for your time. I want to thank you all for being here. We so appreciate you. And as you heard, your panel has raised their hand. I think Mark said 5 more sessions. So stay tuned. I will be posting the responses for your questions on the Facebook page. And if you have any questions, anything we missed, any feedback for us, go ahead and message me. Other than that, you all have a wonderful evening.
Don't go. We have
wait. Oh, that's right. Michelle's giving some stuff away. I am so sorry. I almost forgot. So we got 65 people who stayed with us, Michelle. How do you want to do the drawing?
And actually, Shalina, I am passing that back to you because I have an appointment that I have to get to. But we do have, you can get a custom Wusthof knife set, or you can give the $100 Visa gift card. I just wanted to give you guys an idea of something that I'm giving to my clients. This is a German brand knife set that's really, really nice. So I can send that, or $100 Visa gift card. If you're not really into steak knives, this is a steak knife set. But I will leave it up to you because you've been doing such a phenomenal job at facilitating this. We appreciate you. You did all the stuff that we don't have time to do. I have time, but we just didn't make the time to do. And we appreciate you for making the time to take care of everything. So thank you so very much.
My-
I'll let you
And
take
I'll
care.
add, Shalene, one thing.
Yes.
So you can do a drawing and I'll send one of the books that I mentioned, the gold standard. Somebody can win that and I'll get that book out to them.
Oh, wow. So we got two things going on here. So Michelle, the first person I'm going to pull out is going to be the first question that was asked tonight. And that came from, let's see who started asking the first question tonight, was not the, is this being recorded? I don't want to mispronounce your name, Codjo. Is it Kadojo? Kadojo, did I say that right? Think you need to be here to win. Okay, Kadojo's not here.
I'm here.
She said, I am here.
She,
Kadojo,
yeah.
thank you so much. He said, I didn't go anywhere. Kadojo, could you private message Michelle your information so that she can get that out to you, please?
And also, if you could use this, consider using this for the things that we talked about. Go experience the Ritz-Carlton. If you haven't had dinner yet or a night there, use it for that opportunity to grow yourself into luxury real estate, because that truly is our goal. Even if you're not getting into luxury, and for you, it's just increasing your price point per transaction.
So much.
Experience it. Yep, absolutely. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Shalina.
Yes, my pleasure. Thank you all. Our second winner is, let's see, Miranda. Miranda, are you here? Miranda asked a great question about a mentor. Where is Miranda? Oh, Miranda. Oh, gotta move on.
I'm here.
Oh, she's like, don't play. I'm here for my gift. All right. Thank you, Miranda. So Miranda, will you private message Mark to get your book?
Sure will. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you all again for being here. Once again, I'm going to grab your questions that we did not answer live here from the chat, and we'll get you an answer to those in our group. Other than that, you all have a wonderful evening. Stay well, stay safe, and grow prosperous. Thank you. Good night.
All right, folks. It was nice.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.